Oh boy, guys, I tell you what, I am really spoiled. Welcome back to the channel Book Dragons. I'm really glad you're here with me today. I'm going to be talking about 5 ways that my Kindle spoils me. Before I start talking about it, please make sure that if you enjoy this video, like the video, please subscribe to my channel if you have not already and you follow me on a regular basis. The best way to not miss out on content from me is to subscribe and join my Discord. I'm slowly making some changes in the Discord, and I really hope you'll check it out and come along for the ride, okay? With that being said, let's talk about Kindle. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I'm an advocate for e-reading. Specifically the Amazon Kindle, although I'm sure there's other great e-readers out there as well. My first e-reader was actually the Barnes & Noble Nook when it was a brand new thing, and so I've done that thing, but I found that the Kindle has everything I want and suits my needs the best. So I'm not downplaying other e-readers, but I personally think Kindle is the best. Another thing you want to know going into this video is that 90% of my reading is on Kindle. That's just the way it is. I have physical books. I do read physical books, but there's a lot of times that even if I own the physical book, if I also own it on ebook, I'm probably reading the ebook. That's just how I prefer to roll. And I've got reasons behind that. I'm not going to cover all of the things that I think are magnificent about the Kindle today, but I am going to touch on these 5. So let's get started. The first one is probably obvious, and that is instant gratification. And I know what you may be thinking, Chaz, you're just lazy. You don't want to get up and go to your bookshelf, or you don't want to go and browse at the bookstore and buy books there. You don't want to go to the library. And you would be right. No, not totally right. I mean, I do like doing those things. I get joy out of doing them. I don't always have a lot of time to be making jaunts out to the bookstores and things like that. So the ability to have books instantly downloaded to my e-reader is magnificent. It's such a perfect way for me to get the books I want in a reasonable amount of time, which is immediately. And there is the added benefit, which I really won't go into in too much detail, but I might make it 1.5 on this list, is the price of ebooks are generally a lot cheaper than I could buy at Barnes & Noble or my local used bookstore or anything like that. So in most cases, I can get books a whole lot cheaper, and I'm always looking for the deals. You know, if there's a book I really want, unless I have to have it for a read-along or something like that, I'm usually waiting until it goes on sale for like $1.99, $2.99. So that piece of the instant gratification is there as well. Price is a big factor for me, and that's one of the reasons I love my Kindle as well. But what really spoils me about the Kindle is instant gratification. Another big one for me is low light or no light reading. I am a book dragon, and just like any dragon, I love my cave. I love darkness, especially at night. Like, I don't have a lot of lights on at night, but I still like to read at night. And so having the backlight on my Kindle is huge for me. You know, I can lay in bed with all the lights off and still read for a little bit before I go to bed. I can choose the font that works best for me. I can choose the amount of light that works for me. It really is a big deal. And, you know, you may be like, well, you know, why don't you just pick up a book and turn on a little lamp? It'll still be low light, Chaz. Come on. I'm going to stick with the Kindle for that because it's just best for me to have low light or no light. And I know the Kindle is emitting light, but It's very minimal compared to like getting up and turning all the lights on. And that's another thing too. If I'm reading in bed, I don't want to have to get up after I'm done reading, turn the light off, especially if I fall asleep while reading. I won't be able to turn the light off, and then I'm wasting energy. So it's just a win-win in all respects. So low light, no light reading is a big deal for me. Number 3 on this list is notes and highlights. If you're like me, you get in situations where you want to take notes on a physical book, but you don't want to annotate the book and write inside the book. You don't want to have to get out a notebook to write down the note. You can take out your smartphone and snap a picture of it, and then you can cut and paste that and put it into a note and save it for later to refer back to. But at the end of the day, it's just a lot of extra steps. Kindle makes that so easy, and I'm sure other e-readers do as well, but Kindle makes it so easy to just highlight it with your finger. And most of the things I do that with, it's just highlights. Occasionally I'll make some notes, I'll type my thoughts on it or whatever, and that will show up as well. But you can't do that with a physical book, at least not with much ease. Another side feature of this, maybe a 3.5, is if you're on Goodreads like I am, and Goodreads is an Amazon company, and the Amazon Kindle can sync to Goodreads, all of your notes and highlights go straight to Goodreads, and I can make them live for everybody to see after I finish the book, or I can go back and refer to them myself if I want to remember an awesome quote that I just happened to forget. I can go back and like, oh yeah, that was the quote I wanted to talk about. So it's really, really great for that. This is probably one of my most used features, especially with certain books. Certain books I make more highlights in than others, especially if I find something really funny or really philosophically enlightening. I will highlight that sucker so that I can refer back to it for later. Kindle is just awesome for that. Another awesome feature, number 4, is dictionary lookup. Invariably, I am finding words in the process of reading a book that I don't know, or I kind of think I know what it means, but I want to double check and make sure that I know what it means, especially for the context I'm reading it in. And granted, with a physical book, I can put the book down for a minute, I can go to my phone, I can look up the word. There's lots of dictionaries on the internet. I can easily find out what the word means. It's just not convenient. It's more convenient to be able to sit there, hold my finger on the word, and have the dictionary pull up right in front of me while I'm reading. It's more cohesive. It doesn't take me out of the book as much. It's just not as distracting. So I love being able to look up words in the dictionary on my Kindle quickly and move on to the next section of the book. It's just so nice and so user-friendly. It's also helpful with the X-ray feature on the Kindle because in a lot of cases you can look up words that are specific to that book, which for fantasy, that makes a big deal. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does. At least it will usually give you another context in the book where that word was used, and you can usually kind of figure out what that word means in that fantasy setting. So that part is not as useful, but regular English words that appear in most major dictionaries, if you need help finding what that word means, the dictionary feature on the Kindle is amazing. And the final one on this list, number 5, is the progress ticker. Now this isn't a huge deal to me, but it is a nice feature. And if you're like me and you like to flip through the pages to see how many pages are left in the chapter, it's kind of nice to have this feature. If you have someplace that you need to go, or if you've got something else you need to do but you think you can finish the chapter, you probably want to see about how much longer you got in the chapter, how many pages are left. Or maybe it's going a little bit slowly and you're just kind of anxious to get to the end of the chapter and see what happens after that. And you're sitting there flipping through the pages in a physical book. The Kindle takes that process away because It tells you how many minutes you have left in the book based on your reading speed. It tells you what percentage in the book you're at. So if you're like, oh wow, I don't seem to be making much progress on this book, but it says I'm at 50%. So, you know, that gives you a little boost. You're like, oh, that's great. I'm already almost halfway through. So it's nice to have that progress ticker. It's not an absolute essential. I agree. You know, it doesn't kill me to flip through pages in a physical book to see how much is left, but it eliminates that tick, you know, so to speak. It eliminates that need to know because it's right there in front of you. So those are the top 5 ways that my Kindle spoils me. There's plenty of other really nice features on the Kindle. I think these are the biggest deal for me. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about my experience with the Kindle, I do have a video entitled Pros and Cons of Kindle 1 year later. This was after my first year of owning the Kindle, and I'll leave a link to that in the cards at the end of the video. You can go check that out if you want to see a full overview of my experience with the Kindle, and I would say that almost 100% of that video still holds true for me. And I may have even found other things to add to that list since, but it gives you a good summary of what my thoughts are on the Kindle. And if you're interested, you can also watch my video showcasing my Kindle bookshelf. I did a bookshelf tour for my Kindle, which was an interesting experience to put together, but it was kind of cool. And so if you would like to know how I've set up my bookshelves on my Kindle, you can watch that video as well. I will leave that in the cards at the end of the video also. So make sure to click on those links. Let me know in the comments below if you own a Kindle, or if you've been on the fence about getting a Kindle, or if you just don't care for the experience of reading on a Kindle. That's fine too. I'd love to have a dialogue with you in the comments below. And if you do own a Kindle, I would love to know what some of your favorite features are. Maybe they're the same as mine, maybe they're different, maybe they're even ones that I don't know about yet. I'm always on the lookout for new hacks and tweaks that will make my Kindle experience better than it already is, which is really, really good. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And guys, I hope you have an amazing week. Make sure you are reading more books. I'll talk to you soon.